Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. Now what we're going to be doing today we're going to be going over my fantasy football team for the upcoming Premier League season, guys. So if you don't know about fantasy football, let me quickly explain what it's all about basically, and as well as that I want you guys to comment in the comments down below who is in your fantasy football team. I'll be very interested to know. So if you've made a team by now or not, I'll leave a link to the website in the description down below. I'll also leave a link as well to my league. I'll leave in the description down below a code so that you can join my league. I'll also leave that on screen now and throughout the video, so that basically you can join my league then, guys. Basically the way that works, if you are part of my league last year and you sign up with the same email address as you did last year, you will automatically be entered back into the Ben HD YouTube league. However, if you are new to fantasy football, then you'll need to make an account on it and then type in that code to join my league, and then you'll be in the league, guys. I think last year I came third in my league, which overall wasn't too bad. I think we got around about 60 or 62 people, I think, in the end to get into that league, and I think I came around about third, so all in all that was pretty decent from me, if I say so myself. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of fantasy football, guys, so I'll just get straight on into showing you my team. So what I'm going to do throughout this video, guys, is I'm basically going to sum up who I've got in my team so far and what my thinking is behind guessing all these players in, really. And what I want you to do is, if you think you can spot any improvements that you could make to my team, let me know in the comments down below. I'm always looking to improve my team, and I'd be interested to get some of your guys' opinions as well on who you think will do well this year and who's good value for money and all that sort of stuff like that. In there I have David De Gea. I think he's a certainly good buy this year, guys, and really it's between two top keepers this year in my opinion for who to go with in there. It's between David De Gea and Petr Cech, really, for the top quality goalkeepers. The reason I've gone for David De Gea is because if you look at the fixture list of Arsenal compared to Man United, Man United have a much easier start to the season than Arsenal do. So for that reason I decided to go for David De Gea. I think he'll keep a lot of clean sheets this season, albeit he's not really got the best defence in front of him in the league. However, being in the Jose Mourinho team, they're normally very defence orientated. I think for that reason David De Gea will have no worries in keeping a lot of clean sheets this year, and of course he'll make some worldy saves as well, and that'll all get in bonus points and stuff like that. So I'm going with David De Gea in net. Then for my back three, guys, I have a back three of Morgan, Walker and Williams. So this is the part of my team really which probably is lacking the most and that I've spent the least money on. This is what I normally do with fantasy football, really. I normally like to spend most of my money on my midfield and my attack. However, I still think these defenders could do pretty decent for me and get me a reasonable amount of points. So the reason I've gone with Morgan is I think that a lot of teams will be going up against Leicester. First of all, they have a decent start to this season. I think their first game is against Hull away from home. That's a decent start for them. And also, what I think will happen with Leicester this year is I think a lot of teams will sit back when it comes to playing Leicester, because obviously they are a counter-attack orientated side. And for that reason, I don't think Leicester will be conceding a lot of goals this year. I think they may struggle to score goals going forward. However, I think they'll be pretty stable at the back this year. Obviously, they've got a fantastic goalkeeper with Kasper Schmeichel. And Morgan, now and again, you know, obviously he'll be going up for corners. He may be able to get a goal here and there, so that could obviously of course help out. So he's my first pick. My second pick for my defense is Kyle Walker. The reason I've gone for him is because obviously I think when it comes to picking defenders, it's normally the best to go with fullbacks rather than centre backs, and the reason for that is they're probably more likely to score, and as well they're more likely to get assists. I'd say Kyle Walker is probably one of few players who could walk out of the Euro 2016 tournament from the England squad with some credibility. I personally thought he did well in the Euros, and so if he repeats that form for Spurs, I think he'll be getting down the wing. He's a certain starter for Spurs, and Spurs have a very solid back line, and they've got of course a fantastic goalkeeper in Hugo Lloris. They have a decent start to the season, so for that reason I think they should be keeping quite a few clean sheets at the start of the season, and therefore Walker should hopefully be getting a lot of points. And Ashley Williams as well. I wasn't really sure with this one. Swansea have got an alright start to the season, so I decided to go for Ashley Williams. Hopefully he'll keep some clean sheets. Of course, he's a fantastic defender, had a very good Euros as well with Wales, so hopefully he'll be able to emulate that in this Premier League season. And now onto my midfield, guys. This is where it gets really interesting. So in my midfield I have Sigurdsson, Mahrez, De Bruyne and Bojan. I think this is the part of my team which is probably going to get the most points for me this season. So the reason I've gone with Sigurdsson, obviously he had a fantastic Euros as well. Hopefully he'll be able to emulate that for Swansea. But the reason I picked him is because everything that goes through Swansea normally goes through Sigurdsson. He's bound to get assists this season. He should get goals this season. Of course, the reason for that is he's crucial to the way Swansea play. He's a pivotal part of their team, but as well as that, I'm pretty sure he's on all of their set pieces, and I believe he takes penalties as well. So I think Sigurdsson will be a very good buy for any fantasy football managers this year, guys. He's also quite cheap. I think he's only about 7.5 million, so for that region, it's a pretty reasonable deal in my opinion. Then to my next pick, this is a bit of a one I'm not really sure with. I'll go with Riyad Mahrez, guys. So it has been speculated that he's going to sign a new contract with Leicester. By the time you guys are watching this, he may have already signed a new contract with Leicester. If he does does stay at Leicester, then I think I'm going to keep him in my squad. However, if he was to move on and go to Arsenal, I'd probably get rid of him. Originally, I did have Dimitri Payet. They both cost the same amount. However, the reason I got rid of Payet and brought in Mahrez for him is because I think that, obviously, Payet being playing in the Euro final, I think he won't be as fresh as Mahrez when he comes back to the start of the season. I think it'll take probably about 3 or 4 games before Payet gets really into it again, because obviously his pre-season won't have been as long as everyone else's, of course, because he had a longer Euros than everyone else. Mahrez had a massive break. He had no like Euros or anything like that to worry about. So for that reason, I decided to pick Mahrez, and I think that scoring goals, I think everything for Leicester this season has to go through Mahrez. Of course, Vardy would be another pick that people would go for. However, Mahrez, I think he should guarantee goals, but not only goals, assists as well. He'll be on set pieces, and hopefully he'll have another good season. I mean, I know it's a risk going for any Leicester player, really, because no one really knows how they're going to emulate last season's form and whether they're going to, you know, bring through that form this season. However, I decided to take the risk on Mahrez. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that'll be worth it or not. The next midfielder is then Kevin De Bruyne. I think this one is a pretty safe pick in my opinion. He's probably the best midfielder in the Premier League at the moment, in my opinion, and I think under Pep Guardiola, De Bruyne will absolutely sparkle, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Pep Guardiola actually does with this Manchester City side. So I think De Bruyne will be fantastic. He's guaranteed to get goals, assists. As long as he stays fit, I think he'll have a fantastic season. He wasn't cheap, I'm not going to lie about that. However, out of the premium midfielders, I'd say De Bruyne is probably the best one, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments down below who you guys have in your midfield. I'd be very interested to know. And then the last pick for my midfield, guys, is Bojan. This one's probably more of a budget pick as to the other 4 are. However, I do think that Bojan will still get a lot of points this season. I think at the start of the season, Stoke will be looking towards Bojan for most of their creativity. Obviously, he'll be fresh. He won't have had anything to do over the summer. Of course, he wasn't playing in the Euros, whereas some of Stoke's more creative players perhaps they'll have had less of a pre-season. Players like Shaqiri and Arnautovic. I think a big reason why not a lot of people picked Bojan last season was because last season he was actually a striker in this game. However, this season he's only a midfielder. So I think for that reason he'll do well, and he can play in multiple positions as well. For Stoke, he can play out wide, he can play through the middle, he can even play up front sometimes. So I think for that reason he should get goals and he should get assists as well. As that, Stoke have a pretty good start to the season, so I think Bojan will be a good pick this year. And then, guys, for my front 3, I have Shane Long, Sergio Aguero, and Romelu Lukaku. So I'm a bit unsure with a couple of these. However, one that I'm guaranteed to stick with is Sergio Aguero. I think as long as he stays fit, I think him and Guardiola will just go hand in hand and will be absolutely phenomenal together, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Aguero can do this season. I really hope he does stay fit, but I think he'll hit the ground running this season, and it's going to be such an interesting title race this season between all the clubs at the top, and I think out of anyone, it's going to be Sergio Aguero who's going to be so pivotal this season to Manchester City. He is my most expensive player in this team, however, I think he'll be worth it. He guarantees goals when he's fit, and he guarantees loads of points, if I'm being honest. Then my next pick is obviously Shane Long. So the reason I've gone with him is that I think he'll be Southampton's #1 striker this season. Obviously, with Graziano Pelle moving on now, I think Shane Long will be their #1 pick this season, and towards the end of last season, he was in terrific form, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to carry that on into the start of this season, and if he does so, I think he'll be a very good budget buy. He's only 6.5 million, which is incredibly reasonable for a striker of his caliber. And then my final pick for my starting 11 is Romelu Lukaku. So this one I'm a bit unsure of, I'm not going to lie about that. He has cost me 9 million, and there's been a lot of speculation as to whether Lukaku is going to stay at Everton or leave Everton. If he does stay at Everton, then I'm definitely going to keep him in my squad. I think he'll be pivotal to Everton's success this season if he is to stay there, and I think he'll work well under Ronald Koeman as well. So for that reason, I think I'm going to keep him. However, if he was to move, say, to Chelsea or anywhere else, I'd probably consider getting rid of him because he'll face stiff competition from players like Batshuayi and Costa, so he's not a guaranteed starter. However, at Everton, he's a guaranteed starter. They've got a fairly decent start to this season, aside from Spurs, and I think that Lukaku will guarantee goals. I actually think Everton will do well under Ronald Koeman, and I think Lukaku will be a massive reason for that. Everything that Everton do goes through Lukaku. He's their big guy up front, and of course, only playing one striker formations. If they are going to score, it's most likely going to be Lukaku getting on the goal sheet, so that's the reason I've gone for Lukaku. And then my bench is incredibly budget, guys. We've got Jordan Pickford, obviously ex-Preston North End. We have Paredes, and we also have Johnny Evans and Darren Fletcher. They're my bench picks, guys. I'm probably not going to use any of them, apart from maybe Johnny Evans. I think he could come in handy later down the line, but apart from the others, I'm probably not going to use them. So that is my fantasy football team, guys. So let me first of all say as well, the reason I'm not going for any really transfer players, so, you know, players like Mkhitaryan, players like Nolito, Ibrahimovic, or Xhaka, or anyone like that. You never really know with new players and how they're going to settle into the league. And Feghouli as well being another one. I've seen quite a few people picking Feghouli up. You never really know how players are going to do coming into a new league. So, and you never know how long they're going to take to settle into a new league. So for that reason, I'm not going for any transfer players that have come into this league. So I've played it pretty safe in my opinion. And I think for that reason, hopefully that will pay off towards the start. So guys, there you have it. That is my team for my fantasy football team, guys. So I may make a couple of changes depending on maybe some transfers or an injury or something like that when it actually gets to the first game week. But at the moment, guys, this is my team that I'm going with. So I very much appreciate if you guys could let me know what you think of my team and also who you got in your fantasy football team as well. So if you've not made one yet, like I said at the start of the video, I will leave a link to the website in the description down below. I will also leave the code to join my Ben HD YouTube League in the comments and the description down below as well. I'd love for as many as you guys to join it, and it'll be interesting to see actually who actually comes out on this league on top. I'd be very interested to know. So guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I must say again, thank you so much for your guys' support on all my videos lately. Literally, it has been absolutely phenomenal, guys. So if you would hit the like button on this video, it really does help me out. Also subscribe around here if you are new. But other than that, guys, make sure to check out all the links in the description down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.